You are tuned in to Wine and Wisdom, where mothers and wives dive deep, share stories, and uncork life's most meaningful conversations.
Darling, can you pass the wine, please?
Every Wednesday, we're bringing you real talk, real scenarios, and the real reality of womanhood.
I love you, girl. Enjoy the show.
What's up, ladies, and welcome back to another episode of Wine and Wisdom. I'm your host, Jamie, and tonight I'm speaking from a place that's honest, raw, and necessary, at least for me. So let's just talk for a second, because since launching this podcast, I've received so much love, but I've also been judged, not for what I said, but for the name alone, Wine and Wisdom. People have decided what the show is about before even pressing play. They've made assumptions that because wine is in the title, I must be promoting drunkenness, irresponsibility, or worse, that I'm a bad mom or a wife.
Oh my God.
But that couldn't be further from the truth. Let me say this loud and clear. This podcast is not about drinking anything. It's about becoming. It ain't got nothing to do about no alcohol. It's about alignment. See, people are so literal. The wine is symbolic. It represents the process, okay? Fermentation, endurance. It's about the fact that grapes go under immense pressure and time. However, they never, ever rot. They evolve. And just because a woman enjoys a glass of wine occasionally, whether at dinner, during a celebration, at home, winding down, or on a Wednesday night at 7 p.m. watching Wine and Wisdom, does not make her an alcoholic. So, since we like to throw this word around, let's break it down. According to the Mayo Clinic, an alcoholic, or someone with alcohol use disorder, is a person who has a physical or emotional dependence on alcohol, meaning, Bookie, they cannot physically, mentally do anything. They cannot start their day. They cannot function without a sip of alcohol. They also have an inability to control drinking habits despite negative consequences. So no, a glass with intention isn't a sign of brokenness. It's a sign of balance. Our tagline here at Wine and Wisdom is sip, reflect, and grow. Not once did I say, drink, get drunk, and let's do it again. This is the real issue at hand. We judge people based on surface level assumptions. We see someone doing something differently than we do, and suddenly they're wrong because our life doesn't mimic theirs. That is not grace. That is not minding your business. That's pride. And it's keeping us from healing together. So to every woman listening, please don't let the people who aren't even at peace with themselves talk you out of what God told you to do. Period. So if God told you to enjoy your steak dinner with potatoes and green beans with a nice glass of wine at family dinner, pour your glass, Bookie. So tonight, let's talk about the spirit in the glass. I want to break down the winemaking process and how it mirrors womanhood on a spiritual level. With Easter coming up, I think this is a beautiful topic for us to talk about. So, as we all know, wine doesn't just happen. You can't just plant it and go harvest it. It is a whole process. It starts with a seed, something small, seemingly insignificant. But inside the seed is purpose. And once it's planted, it goes through a process that involves waiting, pruning, pressure, and transformation, just like us, okay? Let's walk through it together. The first step is cultivation and growth. Did you know it takes grapevines years to mature? It can take 3 to 5 years before grapes are even ready for harvest. Does this sound familiar? You don't become the woman that you're called to be overnight. It takes years. Then next comes harvesting. The grapes are handpicked at the peak of ripeness, but the harvest is just the beginning. What's beautiful and ripe still has to be crushed, and what's inside has to be released. Then comes fermentation. This is where grape juice sits away from everything else. Does it sound familiar? It ferments under heat, bacteria, and time. Do you know what this reminds us of? That silent season that you went through or that you're going through. That silent season in life, the ones where you feel unseen, misunderstood, stuck, lonely, unsupported. But guess what? God working. A little fun fact for you. According to the International Organization of Vine and Wine, fermentation is a controlled process that lasts 5 to 21 days, depending on the wine. But the best wines, they're aged even longer, meaning some of us are intended seasons, not because we're behind, but because of the depths that take time. Aging. After fermentation, wine is often placed into barrels to age. This allows flavors to deepen and to refine. Womanhood is like that. We become more seasoned, wise, resilient over time. And then lastly, the bottling. Once the wine is ready, it's bottled, it's sealed, it's labeled, it's marked. Presented to the world, and just like us, the outside might be pretty, but the power that is inside is what everybody's wanting. Wine is a journey, and so is womanhood. We go through seasons of being planted, pruned, poured into, crushed, aged, and sealed, but we're never wasted. Just like wine, we evolve, we deepen, we hold value, and we get better with time. Wine isn't just poetic, it's biblical. Jesus' first miracle was at a wedding where he turned water into wine. And let's be clear, it wasn't just good wine. Scripture says it was the best they had ever had. He took a moment of lack and made it abundant. When the celebration seemed like it was over, Jesus stepped in and shifted everything. That's the spiritual significance of wine. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. It ain't about the wine. It's the symbolism. Dang a drink. Wine represents transformation, celebration, and a covenant. Wine was used in sacrifice, Passover, and at the Last Supper. It was symbolic of blood, of promise, and of unity. And it is still sacred today. Do not get drunk on wine, which leads to debauchery. Instead, be filled with the Spirit. You know, this verse is often used to shame people. I actually had somebody try to flip that thing, turn around and reverse it with me, y'all. But let me tell you something. It's not an attack on wine. I'm going to tell you the same thing I told them. It's a call to balance and discernment. It is a reminder that anything, when done excessively and outside of purpose, can lead us away from God. The problem is when you're having a bad day, or when you're stressful, or when you're tired, or when it ain't your day. Instead of running to God, you running for that drink. That's the problem. Okay? Not the glass, not pouring you one. The problem is the wine leading you instead of God leading you. But when we sip in reflection, in moderation, with intentionality, that's wisdom. That isn't drunkenness. It's wisdom. So tonight we're going to switch it up. I'm not walking you through the prompts. Instead, I challenge you. I want you to take 15 or 30 minutes to sit with your reflection journal tonight. pondering on everything that we've discussed so far. In those 15, 30 minutes, I want you to create a moment of silence. Light you a candle, put you on some nice instrumental music, grab your favorite pen, put the kids to bed, and I want you to invite God into your space tonight. Instead of journaling on your own, instead of listening to me read the prompts that are already in your book, you have the prompts. Utilize them, but not by yourself. Invite God into your space. Allow Him to journal with you and to guide you and to direction you on how to move after those 15 and 30 minutes. Don't just write to Him, write with Him. Let Him sit beside you. Speak to your heart. Guide your pen. Okay? So here's your district question of the night. And you don't have to tell anybody. And if you don't feel comfortable sharing it in the district, Mama, by all means, I understand. But at least ask yourself. And note it in your journal. Are you a faith-based mom? And do you think having faith is necessary when it comes to being a mother and a wife? I'll go first. Yes. Absolutely. I can, I'm not perfect, by no means. But I know I didn't wake myself up this morning. I didn't give myself the energy to do 1,000,001 things today. That energy comes from a source. So yes, absolutely. And it's my faith in God that grounds me. Without Him, I'd be led by my emotions. With Him, I'm led by grace. So tonight, take your time, pour your heart out, and let the Spirit move your words and glow. But I thank you for joining me tonight. I pray this episode challenged you and reminded you that process has a purpose. It may not feel like it. It may not look like it, but I promise you it does. And don't forget, please feel free to like, follow, subscribe to the Wine and Wisdom podcast on your favorite platform. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Send it to a sister who needs to hear it. I love y'all, and I'm praying for y'all. Easter is right around the corner. I'm wishing you a beautiful, blessed Easter and safe travels wherever you go. Until next time, remember, sip, reflect, and grow. Cheers.